Take a seat. Take a seat. Yeah. Good morning. So you are Dilpreet Singh.
Yes, sir.
Good. So tell us something about yourself.
Sir, I am Dilpreet. I am a graduate in mechanical engineering from Punjab Engineering College. Subsequent to which, sir, I joined the State Civil Services as a Tehsildar. While undergoing training, sir, I gained a period for the State Civil Services and I got the 8th rank in general category. Sir, some of my hobbies include Bhangra, calligraphy, caring for animals and Balwai. I am an enthusiast in sports as well, sir. Badminton is my passion. And I draw some of my self-perception as a clear, confident and compassionate human being, sir.
Very well introduced. I'll ask a few questions, then over to Pranam Chima, then Dr. Rana, then one more round after that. Okay? So, tell me firstly, you are an all-rounder. Why is it important to be multi-dimensional? For anybody, why is it important to be multi-dimensional?
Sir, I believe there are internal and external reasons for the same. Being multidimensional, it helps you to unleash your full potential. So it is a good experience from the inside. While being multidimensional, you can also contribute to the society as well, the dimensions in which you work. So it has both the advantage of being internally and externally sound. So one should be multidimensional.
Okay, in the civil services, what are 3 qualities that you possess which are suited to the civil services? 3 qualities.
Sir, I am a meticulous planner. I try to micro-plan the things. So I think this will help me in managing the day-to-day activities while assuming the office. Sir, second, I have a genuine compassion towards the society and towards its beings, be it humans or the animals as well. Sir, third will be discipline. Sir, I am a guy who will follow the schedule. So these qualities should help me in civil services.
Yeah, they are good qualities, but in the first one, meticulous detail, sometimes we might go too deep into detail and forget the bigger picture as a leader or the administrator. So one cannot afford to be a mole which goes deep into the ground. One sometimes has to be a fox. What do you say?
Sir, I completely agree with you. And this strength of mine, it also is a weakness to some extent. That sometimes if things don't go as I plan, I feel uncomfortable and I am working upon it, sir.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. Which is important, being a mole or being a fox?
Sir, I think you should be a fox who is very fidgety and who is multidimensional, as we earlier pointed out.
You have to be both.
Dilpreet, tell me, I was talking to you before Mr. Teke, that hedgehog knows one big thing. Fox knows a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
Now, would you like to know in a particular situation? In a particular situation, you have a situation where you are required to take some decision. In that situation, would you like to be a hedgehog or a fox?
Sir, with respect to the details of the situation, I would like to be a hedgehog, going into such depths so that my stand would be very clear. But while keeping in mind the stakeholders that are involved, the impacts my decision could have, I would like to be a fox while analyzing that situation. So, as sir pointed out, why not be a combination of both?
Okay. How does one come to know about one's latent talent? That they, and when you realize that you have some talent, what talent is?
Sir, I think we have to reflect on the inside to find our latent talent. Life throws little hints to you, and either we as a mature being, we catch those hints or we let them go.
What age? The earlier you do, the better it is. But what age did you realize that you have this talent?
Sir, I was the sports captain in class 9th of my school. Our school was not doing particularly well in sports.
There in Jalandhar?
Yes, sir. So, my sports teacher he encouraged me to get the team and to play an inter-district tournament, which we subsequently won. And the kind of management that they saw in me, they encouraged me, the principal ma'am also encouraged me that you should either go into a managerial job or an administrative job because you have got the knack for it. So that is when I tried to seriously pursue.
All right. Tell me what is the name of hero of Galwan Valley? The entire nation knows about him. Hero of Galwan Valley. What is his name? What was his name?
Sir, I'll have to read about it.
All right. Afghanistan. What was Russia's role in Afghanistan and when was it? And why is Afghanistan, still going through this kind of thing? Who is responsible for it? Who are Taliban? When was Taliban made?
Sir,
What is the meaning of Taliban word? What does it mean, Taliban?
Sir, I'll have to.
Taliban means student. Pashto, Taliban is student. And since it was established by a student of madrasa, so the name Taliban continues. But what was Russia's role in that? And please tell me, what are the 5 countries which are around Afghanistan? And what will be the impact in that? And if you want to say what will be the impact on India, tell me that.
Sir, Russia, it was a communist state back then when it had.
No, we are not talking about Russia. Russia's role in Afghanistan. What did they do?
Sir, Russia wanted to win over Afghanistan because it was a part of the heartland. So it had also stationed its troops and provided support to carry on legitimate activities and to support the government. While on the other hand, there were forces proxy to that, like Pakistan. It created Taliban and the US support. Taliban group. And sir, the countries, there are Central Asian countries which are surrounding Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan. And sir, we have the border with Afghanistan as well. Pakistan is having a border. China is having a border with Afghanistan as well. And sir, the impact that the current scenario will be having upon our country depends upon the kind of diplomacy we pursue. If we try to diplomatically engage the Afghan government as well as the Taliban onto our side, then sir, things can go on smoothly. But on the other hand, we have the risk of opening a 3-front war as well. The risk of economically infiltrating our borders through the drugs.
Should India recognize Taliban government? Tomorrow suppose the Taliban are now they are 40-50 kilometers away from Kabul. They will be there in a couple of days. Should India recognize Taliban government?
So, based upon the historical precedents, like when Russia withdrew, the civil Taliban regrouped into a good amount of strength. So Taliban is the future government in Afghanistan. It is already occupying at least 85% of the area. So
it is a government by gun. We are a democracy. We have different kind of you cannot be the only country which recognizes. No other country, democratic country, will recognize Taliban government.
So for that we need careful diplomacy and to ensure that if there is a government in Taliban, if there is a government of Taliban in Afghanistan, it should cater to all the stakeholders present there, be it the government, be it the Taliban, be it the FATA areas, or be it the small tribal population there. It should be representative of all these factions. Plus, there should be no external influence in the governance of Taliban.
Okay, who is the president of Afghanistan today? What is the name of president of Afghanistan?
So the last time I heard it was Mohammad Ashraf Ghani.
It was Karzai, now somebody else.
So I stand corrected.
You have followed badminton as well. Can you give the total medals won by India in sport of badminton till date?
Sir, it is heartening to see that Miss PV Sindhu, she won the bronze medal in badminton.
That's the only medal in
she has won a silver medal as well. And sir, dating back, sir, I won't be able to recall.
And where are next Olympics to be held?
Sir, I'll definitely recall it.
In 2028 or 2032, because the sites have already been announced.
I'll definitely recall it, sir.
Pegasus board is dominating headlines for last 1 month on monsoon session was postponed. What is the literal meaning of Pegasus?
Sir, I'll not be very sure.
It's a winged horse. It's a mythological meaning. And in 2019, 51 Pegasi B was in news. And in 2021, Pegasus is in news. Can you just differentiate what are these two referring to?
Sir, the little I could remember, Pegasi B was an extraterrestrial planet. It was in news.
And it was awarded Nobel Prize in Physics. Yes. What is, how is described Pegasus currently?
Pegasus is a malware, sir. It's an infiltration mechanism for snoopware or spyware, which when infects the phone, it could obtain vital information without the user even knowing about it.
Can you differentiate Trojan and a bomb?
Sir, a worm particularly infects the device by replicating itself. A Trojan, it corrupts the device.
And what's the major two news which were followed in last 2 days? Any two major news?
Sir, one was regarding the e-rupee payment system that the government recently introduced, and the second, as Sir asked, was the Afghan issue.
So in the first theme, can you give any one major advantage and one probable criticism or disadvantage?
So basically, it is a prepaid UPI instrument. For example, if a company has to get its employees vaccinated, it will prepay things using UPI, and it will get a barcode, and it will give it to its employees, that barcode. They can use that barcode to get themselves vaccinated cashless. So it will help in digitizing our economy to a greater extent.
And concern?
So the concerns are pertaining to the misuse, because there is only one layer involved, a barcode or a voucher, and that could be misused if lost.
No. The basic idea was behind all this is that the money should be used by the recipient for the purpose it is meant. You not brought up that. See why this has been introduced, otherwise all other pay systems are there. But this one has been introduced because people were using the money they were given for a particular purpose, they were not using it for that and they were using it for something else. So the government thought that they must be forced to, and so they will have some kind of check over them that have you used this money for that purpose for which you were given. That is the idea behind
This kind of.
Okay, so to repeat, data is the new gold at the global level. Companies which have data are rich companies, technology companies, others. How can data be safeguarded, kept secure, personal data? And what is your comment on this fact that data has become so precious?
Sir, we are heading towards surveillance capitalism, where data is mined, data is commercially used, and data is sold for profits. So we need to conserve data not only to ensure our own privacy, but so that we are not at a disadvantage economically as well. And sir, to ensure data privacy, sir, first of all, we need data localization, so that our sovereign data, or the sovereign data of our citizens, should be stored upon servers which are located in a country, so that we can at least have a jurisdiction over them. Sir, the next should be, there should be an oversight mechanism. Like sir, recently there have been calls for traceability of data. So there should be oversight mechanism wherein data can be controlled. Sir, apart from that, there should be an independent body, data regulation authority on that lines, like we have a telecom regulation authority of India. And why not, if data is the new gold in the future, sir, let's create an organization that caters not only to the privacy aspect of the data, but towards big data using big data in governance as well.
Okay. Social media, the dilemma. There's a film called The Social Dilemma also, which talks about how advertisers and big data companies are using our personal preferences online, commercialize their interests. What is your comment on this, and what should society do?
So, as neo-Marxists, they point out that we live in a world of created realities. Hyper-realities, they govern us. And these hyper-realities, they are being created by the capitalists in order to serve their purpose of people consuming more. So, I think it should be the preference of the user, whether he wants to share that personal data to be used as an advertisement onto various pages. That discretion should be of the consumer. He should not be a sheep who is being in the field to exploit for the capitalists.
Okay, social media and government. You are already being trained for PCS, I believe. Already in the system. You're getting a salary?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, as a government official, social media, its usage officially and unofficially, should there be some limits? What are the benefits also?
Sir, I think we are governed, as civil servants are governed by the conduct rules. So, the conduct rules, they should be applicable on social media as well. And that should govern our conduct on social media. Regarding the duration one is on social media, if a civil servant is using social media for a constructive purpose, then I think there should be no time limits, as in the case of oxygen supplies being shared by the civil servants upon the social media.
Okay.
When you grow, you are an IS officer and you become secretary, you are there in Krishi Bhavan. You are posted in Krishi Bhavan. Now, this farmers situation, you know what is happening. And what would be your advice to the minister? What kind of draft you will prepare for the minister to go through to solve this problem?
Sir, regarding the farmer protest and me being the secretary, I would like to tender an advice that we should continue negotiations. And sir, if there is a stalemate, I would like to introduce fresh bills based upon the same logic, but taking the farmers and other lobbies on board, so that the trust deficit, which is being channelized into fear for the farmers, that can be abridged. This is the advice. At one level, negotiations are, at the second level, fresh bills with the same logic.
In negotiation also, it is clash of egos which plays a very, see, arguments are basically because of clash of egos and not because of the issues. Issues are there, of course, and people know what are the issues. But perhaps it is a clash of egos that the government doesn't want to climb down, come down. What would you say? I mean, there have been negotiations already going on. Now there is a stalemate.
So we as civil servants or politicians, we govern for the people. So if the farmers themselves are not agreeing to the laws, then I think it is sagacious on the part of the government to introduce fresh bills.
Don't say that for heaven's sake, don't say that kind of thing. But you see, logically, yes. Anyway, forget it. I mean, you have to be smart enough. If there is a question on this, you have to smartly, steer your way through this rather than coming directly. Now, one take in NEP 2020, it is a big revolutionary change. The government is advocating and projecting it as a revolutionary change in the education system. One major thing, how it will change the education system.
Sir, I think the push for technical and vocational education, learning by doing, learning by hand.
No, I am talking of the primary and secondary education level. Those are different areas. There is a major revolutionary change in the primary education system. What is that?
Sir, it is the scheme of taking exams and 5+2+2 mechanism that has been introduced.
There is only one Marshal of Air Force. So now these days, what was his name?
Sir, I'll read about it.
There is the Field Marshal Manekshaw you heard about,
Yes.
and there is one Marshal of Air Force, the only Marshal of Air Force in India, Indian Air Force.
Sir,
What is his
he
name?
was a Sikh gentleman and I'll read about it. Sir.
Arjun Singh.
Please.
So you have opted for IPS over IFS. Any specific reason for that? There were a lot of students of IFS as their second preference. Why IPS over IFS?
Sir, I wanted to serve in the country, but sir, if given the choice of being an IFS officer, I'll be happy to opt for that also.
And you're already serving Punjab, so don't you feel that now you have claimed the exam, it's better to serve your home state rather than post it, say, in some northeastern state? So would you still go ahead if we say you get selected and you're posted at northeast, or you stay back in Punjab, your home?
Sir, I'll definitely join the central services if given a chance. Many of my colleagues are serving also, and it's all about the diversity the job throws at you and the satisfaction you derive. The reason, sir, is immaterial in that scenario.
And why we should select you? Any one trait will make you different from the thousands we are interviewing? Any one thing which you feel will stand out from rest of others?
Sir, I might not know about the thousand what quality they are wearing. They might be very good in their own domains. But sir, I am someone who lives by the code, won't be seriously sincere. My sincerity should be the reason if I get selected.
Good luck. Have a
Thank you. Let us give you feedback right away.
Uncle.